Congrats! Cardi B has welcomed her fourth child, a baby boy, her first with Stefon Diggs. At the hospital, the room was dim, peaceful, with soft music playing. Cardi insisted on calm energy. Her mother arrived. Stefon stayed by her side, holding her hand, whispering reassurance. Hours later, as dawn light filtered through the blinds, their son entered the world. A healthy baby boy, tiny, warm, crying with a strength that filled the room. Cardi wept. Stefon kissed her forehead. A family was born. They named him quietly, choosing a name with meaning, strong, timeless, connected to both of their families. No social media announcement, no immediate photo shoot. For those first hours, the world didn't exist. Cardi B. When they put him on my chest, I can't explain it. After everything I've been through, it felt like God gave me a new beginning. Stefon Diggs. I never cried like that in my life. Seeing her, seeing him, it changed me. When the kids visited, the room filled with giggles, curiosity, and pride. Kulture held him like she'd been training for it. Wave inspected him and declared he would teach him cool stuff. Blossom poked his tiny foot and squealed. Nova smiled quietly, full of maturity beyond her years. The baby was surrounded by love from the moment he arrived. Their relationship, once guarded, now stood on new footing. Parenthood bonded them, softened them, grounded them. Friends noticed the shift. Cardi seemed calmer, happier. Stefon more open, more settled. They weren't perfect. They still had careers, schedules, challenges. But the baby brought unity, something steady amid the chaos of fame and sports. When they left the hospital, wrapped in privacy and gratitude, Cardi and Stefon stepped into a fresh chapter, one woven from the unexpected. A casual connection that turned into love, a blended family that became one, and a baby boy who tied their worlds together. No matter what the future holds, one thing is clear. This child, surrounded by siblings, embraced by two devoted parents, was born into a home where love is loud, messy, joyful, and real. And that, more than anything, is the heart of their story. It all started in a way neither of them planned, quietly, unexpectedly, and far away from the noise of fame, flashing cameras, and the constant pressure of their public lives. Cardi B and Stefon Diggs lived in two completely different worlds. She was a Grammy-winning artist with 3 children and a life constantly under a microscope. He was an NFL superstar whose name lit up highlight reels every weekend. On paper, they weren't the kind of pair anyone would think to match. But life has a funny way of rewriting the script. Their paths first crossed last fall at a private event in New York City, one of those exclusive charity gatherings where celebrities, athletes, and executives mingle in a room with too much champagne and too little privacy. Cardi wasn't even supposed to be there. She had planned to stay home with her kids, but a close friend convinced her to step out just for an hour. Stefon, meanwhile, had flown in for a teammate's foundation gala and showed up mostly out of obligation. They knew neither would be there, neither expected anything, and neither was looking. Cardi was standing near the bar, wearing a sleek black gown and sipping water instead of anything alcoholic. Stefon walked in with a small group of friends, laughing as he greeted a few people he hadn't seen in months. They didn't notice each other immediately. In fact, the night might have passed without any interaction, if not for one simple moment. Cardi's bracelet clasp suddenly snapped, sending beads scattering onto the floor. As she bent down to gather them, another hand reached out at the same time. She looked up, and there was Stefon, smiling as he handed her the missing bead. "You dropped this," he said. Cardi laughed, slightly embarrassed, brushing her hair back. "It's cheap," she joked. "That's why it broke." "Or maybe you wear it too much," he replied. She raised an eyebrow. "You trying to say I don't have other jewelry?" He grinned, calm, playful, confident. "No, I'm saying it must be important to you." That caught her off guard a little. Most guys would have used the chance to flex, flirt aggressively, or make a joke. But Stefon had it gently, like he actually noticed something deeper. And that was the first moment he stood out. They talked for a few minutes, polite small talk, a couple jokes, nothing intense. But the conversation felt natural. No pressure. No weird energy. When she left the event early, he didn't ask for her number. He didn't push. He didn't try to impress or make a move. That's what Cardi remembered later, that he didn't try. A week passed before they spoke again. A mutual friend who had seen their brief interaction reached out to Cardi and said, "Hey, Stefon asked if it's okay to give you his number. No pressure." Cardi stared at the message for 5 minutes before responding, "Sure, whatever." She saved the number, but didn't text. Not yet. Stefon eventually sent a simple message. "Glad you made it home safe last week. Hope you're having a good day." No flirting, no assumptions, just respect. And Cardi appreciated that more than he knew. Their early conversations were short at first. She was cautious, not just because of her public life, but because she had 3 kids and had been through enough emotional chaos to last a lifetime. She wasn't about to let anyone new disrupt her peace. Stefon, on the other hand, understood boundaries instinctively. He was a father, too. He knew what real responsibility looked like. They talked about football and music, but also small things like favorite snacks, childhood memories, hobbies. Cardi was surprised by how thoughtful he was. He listened, really listened. He remembered details. He didn't rush. He didn't push. By November, their chats had turned into regular FaceTime calls that lasted hours. Cardi would talk to him after putting her kids to bed, wrapped in a blanket on the couch. Stefon would join from hotel rooms after games, exhausted but smiling as soon as her face appeared. One night, as they were video chatting, Cardi said, "You're so chill. It's weird." He laughed, leaning back on the pillow. "You say that like it's a bad thing." "No, it's just different," she admitted. "I'm used to men being loud, aggressive, or trying too hard. I'm not trying to be anything, but myself," he said simply. Cardi sat quietly for a moment, feeling something, softening, something she didn't expect, something she wasn't ready to name. Their first official date happened almost accidentally. Cardi had a late-night studio session in Miami, and Stefon happened to be there during a bye week. He texted her, "If you want food after, I know a spot that stays open late." She didn't plan on going, but after hours of recording, exhausted and hungry, she said yes. They met at a small restaurant with no paparazzi, no crowds, just dim lights and warm food. Cardi ordered fried snapper, Stefon got wings. They ate, laughed, shared stories, teased each other, and forgot to check their phones. When he dropped her off at the hotel, he didn't lean in, didn't try anything. Instead, he said, "Text me when you get upstairs so I know you're safe." She did, and she found herself smiling at her phone like a teenager. From there, things unfolded slowly but naturally. They didn't announce anything. They didn't even call themselves a couple at first. They were just comfortable. They talked every day. They saw each other when schedules allowed, and little by little, trust formed. Cardi told him about the pressures of being in the spotlight, the criticism, the insecurities, the exhaustion of trying to protect her kids from the public. Stefon listened without judgment. He shared his own challenges, the weight of expectations, the mental toll of football, the sacrifices he made for his career. They bonded over responsibility, over resilience, over the shared experience of being more than what the world saw. By the time winter turned into spring, their connection had deepened. Their families began meeting, slowly, carefully, with intention. Their kids clicked instantly, filling their spaces with loud laughter and sibling-like energy. In May, Stefon invited Cardi to a private dinner for his birthday. It was intimate. Close friends, family, quiet music. After dessert, he pulled her aside and said, "You're important to me. I'm here for real. I don't want anything temporary." Cardi felt her chest tighten, overwhelmed but steady. "Okay," she whispered. And for the first time, she let herself believe it. The world didn't know yet. Fans only saw glimpses, matching jewelry, exchanged likes, subtle comments. Then June arrived. They walked into a summer gala together, hand in hand, smiling, unbothered by flashing cameras. Their relationship wasn't new then. It was just finally public. But the truth, the real beginning, was a broken bracelet, a gentle smile, A simple message in a man who saw Cardi not as a headline, not as an icon, but as Balkalis, a woman deserving peace, patience, and something real. That's how it started. Quietly, unexpectedly, beautifully. And the rest, well, that's still being written.